Well, in Doha, we're joined by our panel of experts helping us navigate through this election. Maria Echaveste, a former Deputy Chief of Staff under President Bill Clinton. She was also appointed by then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton as a special representative to Bolivia. Under President Obama's administration, she was nominated to be the American ambassador to Mexico. Mark Feifel served as Deputy National Security Advisor for Strategic Communications and Global Outreach at the White House. That was under the presidency of George W. Bush. In that role, he led the effort to promote President Bush's surge of U.S. troops into Iraq. Lee Wright-Rigueur joins us from Harvard University, where she teaches public policy. She's also the author of The Loneliness of the Black Republican, Pragmatic Politics and the Pursuit of Power. Well, it took about a minute to read through all your achievements. A very warm welcome. Leah, let me start off with you. This campaign has been horrible.
That's one way to describe it.
I mean, the things that we've heard and what has been said, what do you think is driving people to vote? Is it for what they believe in, or rather keeping the devil away in their mind?
So it's a little bit of both. I mean, I think this is a year that traditionally, and we were talking about this earlier, but this is a year traditionally we would have seen a candidate who, cast as the change candidate. Somebody coming out because people want to change, right? 8 years in office is a really long time, et cetera, et cetera. But in addition to that, you've now run two candidates who are both very, very well known. One in particular has managed to, I think, strike a level of ire in people and anger in people that has made them want to go out and cast a vote against him. I think, too, on the other side, when we think about partisanship and polarization, there's an incredible amount of anger towards Hillary Clinton, right, that we haven't really teased out fully. And so for a lot of people,
that is with her. They don't trust her. They feel she's secretive.
But also, too, I think some of that is pre-existing, right? So it's been there for quite some time. And so that's motivating people to come out to the polls, too, in really in much bigger ways than we expected.
Mark, the polls are still indicating at this stage that Clinton has a slight lead. So I'm just wondering how this is playing out in the Republican camp, especially because we've seen a high voter turnout amongst the Latinos and the African Americans.
That's right. So Donald Trump needs to get every possible vote out that he possibly can. I think part of the challenge is that when voters were asked, were you contacted by the Clinton campaign or the Trump campaign, overwhelmingly more people said, I was contacted by the Clinton campaign. So Donald Trump, it's more like force of personality, as Leah was saying, than it is a real good ground operation that's getting people to the polls. So that's a big problem for the Trump people, that they've got to overperform. And in some ways what happened is that the Clinton campaign launched onto this Donald Trump's anti-Hispanic rhetoric and drove a lot of Hispanics to the polls, especially in Florida, and that could be the difference in this race.
And Maria, I believe that the Clinton campaign is still calling up people, still bussing them in. So even though there's a slight lead, and I hear there's a lot of optimism in the campaign headquarters, it's not over yet.
It's not. It's never over.
It's never over, especially this one, right?
Exactly. It's never over until the ballots are counted, as we learned in 2000. There is nothing being taken for granted, and I do think that the effort and money, this is one of the most expensive election our country, the U.S., has ever seen, which is extraordinary. $2 billion. And a lot of that is
on the whitewashing, possibly.
and it's focused on a big chunk of it on the ground game, on finding every single voter, on identifying, do you need a right? And yes, they were calling people today in some of those key places like North Carolina, Florida, Pennsylvania. Make sure every single vote that is out there, you've gone and got
to get it.
Yeah.